Hey guys, how's it going? It's Clarice, and today I'm going to show you how to do a celestial piece of artwork. And this is a little more abstract, so it doesn't have really a lot of, I guess, specifics or like creating leaves or creating petals or making sure that it looks like a certain kind of flower per se. But it's very abstract, it's very soothing, and it's very therapeutic, at least to me, anyways. The brushes I'm using for this are my mop brushes, number 4, number 1, and then I just have the number 4 in like the silver black velvet on the side just in case I need to use it. This is essentially what we're going to be doing, just a very kind of organic shape with a lot of blending of color, and yep, just gonna have fun with it. So I'm just gonna push this over while still keeping it in focus so you can see what we're kind of working with. And the colors I'm using are 3 different kinds of blues and a purple. And so just use whatever blues you have, and just for the sake of experimentation, just see what works and what doesn't work, and we will go from there. Okay, guys? So first things first, let me change some of the water because the water I have is still pretty mucky from the first round. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So let's get started. Who's excited for blending? I am. I know I am. Okay, so I'm hoping that these little splatters that I made here are dry. And what I'm going to start off doing with the first step is to pretty much just wet a shape around here. Well, your blank sheet of paper that you have. And it's fine if it's not like a perfect shape and there's white like spaces in between. That's totally okay. So don't feel like it has to be completely full or covered with water. And then taking this brush, we're just gonna make sure you're sitting by a good light source and just add the color around the edges. And look how pretty it is as it kind of just blends in. You see that? Look at it just kind of flowing through. It is so satisfying to watch, and also extremely therapeutic to look at. Well, to watch, look at, same thing, you know what I mean. And if you feel like some areas aren't as wet, no worries, just kind of go in with some of your paint. I mean your mop brush here, and just touch it up, and that's fine. You can get it. And just go on the inside too that way if you want. That'll help it move around. So it really depends on how dark you want the edges. Like I would like my edges to be super dark. So I'm just going to go in again and just make sure while it is still wet, you can't wait for this too long because sometimes it's, depending on how much water you have going, it might dry up quickly. So you just have to go in and just make sure that you have enough dampness to get this kind of nice swirly look. And now I'm going to go in with my next color, which is a lighter blue. And I'm just going to dab that in on the inside here. So it looks like a gradient. And just put that in as in where you see fit. And what I'll do is I will kind of close this up. So I'll add some color right there. See, notice that I'm making my own design here in terms of pattern rather. I'm not bringing the dark all the way down, so I'm just going to leave it with the blue. And maybe even do like a hard edge for it. I don't know, we'll see how this pans out. if I want it to be a little more striking in the blue color here at the bottom as opposed to the dark at the top, just to give it some contrast. And then I am going to I'm going to leave a little bit of space between, even though it is damp. Let's just try and see what happens. I would like to have a little bit of white in between the blue and the next blue that I add. So I'm just going to put my water brush around here. And then I'm going to use that as a guide and use the purple. And this is how that's going to look. And don't worry if the blending isn't as much. It isn't as much because the water isn't, like clearly the water beyond here is has started to dry up. And so it isn't blending quite as well as the first two colors. And that's okay by me because I want the purple to blend in with this next blue that I'm going to add on the inside. Because I do want that white on the out. So now I'm going to go in with my blue and do this. And do you see again how you get that nice blendy effect? It's all dependent on how damp, oops, wrong blue. It's all dependent on how damp the area is that you're applying the paint to. And then finally, I'm going to leave a little more white space. And then just in the center, I'm going to go with the initial blue that I had, which is like the really dark one, and just put that in there. Maybe even add, no, not adding any more there, just slightly. So I'm going to leave some white space in here. And try and get it darker so then you have the darks on the outside and then you have the darks on the inside as well. If you see water collecting and you want to swish it around, no harm, no foul, unless you're going for a certain look. And so that's how that is. And then what I'll also do is I'll take some and just add some purple and just add hints of it at the edge, maybe a little bit, maybe right here with the blues. Although you can see that this has dried up and so it doesn't quite look like it's blending as much. So I'm just going to do that. And then that gives it another organic kind of bleeding pattern to it. You know, yeah. And then even with these edges, if you find like it's too much water, you don't want it to be hard edged, like literally, guys, all you got to do is just go in, do this, open up those closed areas. And then you can even take your little rag and just slowly dab at it if you don't want it to be as prominent. It's totally your call because this is a very abstract kind of style of painting. So yeah, have fun with it. And I did say that I would introduce some pink in it, and I do have some pink available right now. So we'll use the 4 that I have, and let's just see how this pink works out, because right now I'm not sure what's still damp and what isn't. So let's just try and add a little bit of pink around here and here. Around the purple areas would be nice, just so it blends in nicely, because pink and purple kind of go nicely together. Just like that. And then maybe right here in the edges. Oops, that's maybe a little bit too dark of a pink. You just want a hint of it, just like how you see in the skies sometimes, because this is a celestial style painting. So yeah. And if you feel like the pink's too much, you can always just go in and use your paper towel or rag and just dab a little bit of it off, or just blend in, swish in some of the water, and that will help. And again, you might get some interesting effects, so you know, just go with it. So this is my tutorial on how you do a celestial style piece of artwork. You can always take your brush and do the little dabs like I've done before in the past. It's entirely up to you. If you want to do it or not. I'm just going to do some so you see what that looks like, even though you've seen me do it many times. But yeah, I think it's a pretty effect. You don't have to do it. You can also do white if you have white, and that would be also pretty because of the dark colors. So really up to you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. As per usual, you guys know I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Feel free to follow me there. Engage with me if you have any questions regarding this. I'd love to see your artwork, so send it my way if you have a minute or two or a second. And yeah, if not, you know what? There's always comments right below, so feel free to drop a comment or two and let me know how it's going. Thanks, guys. Bye.